Go on YouTube, you know who it is. Haven't had a video up since my last subscriptions video, but I'm gonna probably make a Redbox run through after this video. So maybe expect that up later today. 16 books. Decent haul here. For some reason this week I was very into my books. Like some weeks I'll just read through them and that's it. But this week I was really, I don't know, maybe I was more focused or something? I don't know. I've also been trying to avoid drinking coffee, but I sat down to make this video and it just didn't feel right, so I had to get a cup. First up, Superboy, number 22. Completely different feel with this book, completely different way they're going. They've been following this whole Superboy as a superhero, and now we see, although he's still being a hero, he's in high school, and he's at a high school trying to track down this some type of psionic attack on these kids. I really liked it though. It was totally different from what it's been, and I kind of called what happened from the beginning. That the love interest that I guess you could technically say, the girl that was interested in him turned out to be like the main issue. But at the end, it actually looks like Crypto is now affected by this virus or a psionic attack or whatever it is. But I really like this book. This book is really good every issue. If you're a super fan, even if you're not a Superboy fan, I recommend this because it's good story writing. It's very well done. Now another super book, Adventures of Superman. This is number 3, and instead of having, I think 1 and 2 had more than one story in it. This has a couple, or no, they had a couple in them. This one only had one, I believe. There might have been another like backstory, but I'm not sure. But the 2 stories we have in here are Superman, pretty much just being Superman, and just we learn more about him. Pretty much everybody knows everything about Superman, but I like when they go in depth about this. But talking about how when he's in an acid bath, it's not that he doesn't feel pain, it's just uncomfortable and it's annoying. Just awesome. And then we have the sub-story in this, which is Lex Luthor talking to Lois about becoming president. I think that's this. That actually may be the annual. I don't know. Either way, this was awesome. Just really good Superman stories. If you don't want to read a Superman book that goes week after week and has an ongoing story, these ones I think are only I think maybe one of them had a story that went 2 issues, but I mean just great solo Superman stories done by great teams. Really love this. Not going anywhere off my pull. Next we have Indestructible Hulk, Agent of Time, and we see some things that happened in Age of Ultron in this. We find out that the Age of Ultron is the reason for this break in the time stream. And I saw a lot of parallels between this and a new number 1 this week, Collider, which I also have read. It was just, I read Collider first. I was super excited to read Collider, but I'll get to that next. But there was a lot of similarities between the two, just by the break of the time stream. I mean, I guess there wasn't a lot of similarities, but I saw some. And you have Hulk traveling back in time with a robot that has the mentality of Bruce Banner implanted into it, so he can kind of keep Hulk under control. Interesting, though. You have Zarko, the Tomorrow Man, in this being kind of helping them, which is awesome. I actually really enjoyed this. I'm glad. I love Matteo Scalera's art in this. I like the way he drew certain things. There's a moment in here where Hulk stops like an old plane that came flying in, just stopped it dead. It was pretty awesome. I really do enjoy this. I don't like how the Hulk looks on the cover here, but luckily that's not how he really looks on the inside. It looks like he is in the 1600s now, 1500s maybe, and there's dinosaurs there. So there's more of the rip in the time stream, Age of Ultron consequences. Looking forward to the digital code if you want that. And now the book I just referred to, Collider number 1. This was almost pick of the week. I really love this book. Basically, all the laws of physics are failing, and there's just gravity is not happening. Gravity isn't doing what it should be doing, and just all the laws of physics and just nature that America and the world has come to know is not doing what it has been doing for years. A little tongue-tied today, I guess. But they say that these things are caused by little rips in like the fabric of time-space. And you have this main character who is they has to go in and weld the time-space fabric together. I just really love where this is going. I really like the artwork too, which I didn't think I would, because it was a little different than what I'm used to, but it goes really well with the story, and it looks like big stuff's happening next issue. I really like this book. I hope it stays this good, because I really enjoyed this number 1. Most of the time a number 1 for me is just like, oh, I read it, okay, I see where it could go, but I really enjoyed that, and I can't wait to see how it goes. Next we have Daredevil 29. Mark Waid could write Daredevil forever, as far as I'm concerned, because he has just been, every issue of this, it's fresh, it's wonderful, and it tells an amazing story. This one wraps up, well, I guess it doesn't wrap up, it continues what happened in the last issue, when the character who was representing himself under the teachings of Matt Murdock to be a lawyer, got shot by the judge who ended up being a member of the Serpent Society. I guess it was just to quiet him so he didn't say anything. But you have Matt Murdock just going on this wonderful hostage situation / bomb situation in this courthouse, I guess. And it's just incredible. Just every bit of it. Just I can't stress how great this book is. If you're not reading this, I don't know why. Because not only is it only $2.99, but because every issue is phenomenal. It's so hard for me to not give this pick of the week every issue, but I can't. I really can't. Because it's so good all the time. It does deserve it, but it's nothing surprising. It's always good. And please read this book. You need to. It is just a wonderful comic book. Next we have the Flash Annual number 2. A couple decent annuals out this week. This was the, I got 3 of them. This is the weakest of the 3, I believe, although it was still very good. You have a story told of the first meeting and team-up, kind of Barry Allen and Hal Jordan. And they had to go save these kids from this alien race who was stealing them to complete arena battles. And I guess when they left, when they were trying to get home, Hal Jordan made a deal with these aliens that he would, they would come back and fight in gladiatorial combat, I guess. So they call him back. They're both more familiar. They both know each other at this point, and you know, a little banter between the two. They pretty much defeat everybody that's around them, and then the other team says that they have to fight each other. Doesn't really happen. Hal ends up getting incapacitated by some type of weird fabric. Eventually, Flash uses Green Lantern's ring, which is pretty incredible. The way he goes about it, too, is he says he uses the Speed Force to channel his brain to think of all the possibilities of how to use the ring and what the weakness is. Just very different storytelling in that aspect, and I really enjoyed it from this. The backup story in this is kind of just a generic Flash, just be a superhero and think of your decisions. Things along that line. I mean, it was pretty generic, but the actual team-up and the past story team-up that they told in here about Green Lantern and Flash, I really enjoyed. Although I'm not familiar with they did a lot of references to Hal Jordan being the leader of the Green Lantern Corps now, and I don't really know anything about that because I dropped Green Lantern before that $8 issue. But I guess that's all I really need to know, is that he's running the Corps now. Either way. Superman Annual number 2. This annual, it was awesome. I really loved it. I really don't even recall what happened in it. I just know it was great. It was one of the first books I read this week. But I know it was awesome, but it wasn't as good as the Animal Man Annual, which I will also review. I know it has something to do with Hive and things like that, but really wish I could say more. I mean, that's a great Brainiac cover, though. Oh, I do know what this is. Never mind. Let me go back. It's basically a Lois Lane story. It's basically her telling about how she went out and found these people who were the 20. I don't know why. How did this just pop into my head? Like, I really, when I picked this up, I didn't know anything about this. I felt like I didn't even read it. But now it's all in my head again. Whatever. Lois is investigating this group of people called the 20 who disappeared when Brainiac came the first time, I guess. I'm not familiar. I didn't read that story or if it even happened before. But upon investigating, she finds out that some of them are actually alive. And the way the investigation started is somebody who was missing showed up to, like, the paper where she worked, obviously, and said she needed, help and told her where to go. But it finds out that Brainiac touched all of them and advanced all their brains up to, like, the 12th level or something they said. And it basically has her just going deeper and deeper into this investigation as Superman is just kind of, you know, being Superman. Although there's not much of Superman in here. It's a lot of Lois. Some Clark Kent too, though. But either way, it was phenomenal storytelling. It looks like Lois might be dying, but now Lois has the powers of the 20. The one guy kind of gave her his powers, so she has like psi abilities now, I guess. I don't know. Lois Lane with powers sounds awesome. I don't know if they're going to go anywhere with it, but I really enjoyed it. It was very good storytelling in that. 5 Ghosts, number 5 of 5. We have the wrap-up of Fabian Gray's wonderful adventure to save his sister, I believe it is. And he's having a final battle with another man who seems to be touched by the Dreamstone. Great little battle. Ends up taking him down, obviously. And the actual story of this isn't what excited me the most. But when I read this, it read really quick. Like, I turned the page that said end, and I didn't feel like I read anything. I felt like I read 3 pages. But then the letters page, this has been turned into an ongoing. It will continue in October with a one-shot, I believe, and then continue as an ongoing after that. Couldn't be more excited. Every issue of this, I've said I'd read this as an ongoing, and I'm really excited about it because I couldn't love the story more. This is another one of those books that the art is different than a lot of stuff I read, and I probably wouldn't enjoy it if it was a superhero-based comic from one of the big 2, but in this sense, and with this story, it works magically, and I couldn't like this book more. I recommend this to anybody. Now's the time to hop on it. Pick up the first 5 issues if you can. I'm sure they're not that expensive. You can probably still get them for cover price, but read the first 5 and then jump on it for the ongoing because it's going to be a ride and it's going to be awesome. Uncanny XMen number 9, or as I want to change the name to this book to, Dazzler, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., which I would be perfectly fine with. I love the way that Bendis is writing Dazzler in this. As an Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., she has the, what's his name, Fabio or Fabian. I think it's Fabio. I don't know. Either way, he has gold balls. The guy whose power it is to shoot gold balls out of his body. Questioning him, the X-Men show up, and there's a lot of funny, witty banter between Scott and Dazzler and Magic and Dazzler. They're pretty mad at Dazzler. They say she betrayed her people. I think Scott actually calls her the Uncle Tom of mutants, which was pretty. I mean, that's a deep one. I mean, I know a lot of people reading this probably know that one, but I didn't expect it, and I was like, wow, that's pretty harsh. But I could see where he meant it. She actually calls herself a flashbang in this, which is pretty awesome. She shows her powers in this. I would love to see more Dazzler. I hope she's more of this. I can't really remember what happened at the end of this. All I cared about was Dazzler. I know they have that new mutant hijack now. He hijacked... funny. He hijacked the helicarrier and they're traveling somewhere over like the Caspian Sea or something. I do know what happened. Just clicked again. This is what happens to me. Agent Coulson comes in and gives Dazzler coffee, and it ends up being Mystique who takes the place of Dazzler. Looks like Dazzler now. I don't mind having 2 Dazzlers. I wouldn't mind that. Let's watch it. Let's read it. Digital code for that if you're interested. Thunderbolts number 13. I think this is back issued. I think I had this. I think it came out last week. This is basically just a story about Mercy. Oh, I guess Mercy's over there. Who she is. I didn't know anything about her, so this helped me out greatly. I didn't know anything about her. I guess she's an old Hulk villain who basically, if a man wants to die, she'll kill him. She is Mercy. Tells the story of how Thunderbolt found her, what she is. Really interesting. Added a whole other dynamic to the team, which I'm hoping pans out the way I'm thinking it's going to pan out. But really enjoyed it. I mean, I love that Soleil's on this now because Daniel Way was killing this book. And I couldn't be happier now with the way it's being written. FF number 10. I liked half this book. I liked the Uhura and Maximus story. Basically, I think it's Alex Power asks Uhura, or I don't know how you pronounce his name. That's how I pronounce it. If he knows anybody who's killed anybody, because it seems Dr. Doom has ordered Max Power to kill somebody. I can't really remember who. It might be the Human Torch character, the older Human Torch character. But he says, yes, I have. And they go and they visit Maximus the Mad, the psychopathic serial killer I guess you can't really call him a serial killer, he's just a mass murderer, brother of Black Bolt, who is in turn Uhura's uncle. And it seems that Maximus tricks them into a game of 20 questions, and somehow this game of 20 questions, because he won, got released. Don't really know how it happened, but I loved it. I love any form of Inhuman working into this book. Any of the humans working into this book is awesome. The side story of this, well, I guess it's the main story, and that was a side story, but it has them, I don't know, they bring people in, and there's a, I don't know, I didn't like it. I don't even want to talk about it, that's how much I didn't like it. X-Men number 3, this wraps up the first story arc of the crazy techno girl. I don't know. I don't understand. I still don't understand who she was, what she did, or what happened. But the team worked together well, and I would like to see more of this team. Nothing else to say. Take the digital code if you want it. Nothing else to say about that book. It was good, but Mohawk Storm. I'll read a book with Mohawk Storm any day of the week. Animal Man Annual number 2. Absolutely loved this. This Spider Queen character, I don't know if she popped up in this before, but if she didn't, this is awesome. I love this character. She, even though she seems like she's dumb, I don't think she's written to be dumb. I think she just doesn't understand or doesn't know how to portray her thoughts or anything. But it's a wonderful story about the Spider Queen was kind of feeding off dreams of humans in the city, and Buddy Baker and his son, who has recently died, obviously, they went to kind of save people on their way home. They had to stop, and Buddy's kid ended up getting taken by the Spider Queen, and he went and he made a deal with the Spider Queen, gave her a cave, said just feed off the dreams of the animals, because I guess that's how her and her young feed, is off dreams. And she said she tasted his spawn's dreams, and he dreamed of Buddy. So after his son died, he's in this deep depression, and he goes to find the Spider Queen to get one last taste, and he wanted to know what his son dreamt of. And it was his son flying with him. And it was awesome. I mean, this book, it brings the feelings. It really brings the feelings, and, you know, basically makes you really appreciate the way this is written. I really appreciate the way this is written. This is almost a pick of the week as well. There was just a little, I don't even know how to explain it. If there's a little more action, maybe it would have been pick of the week. But I absolutely love this book, and DC knows how to write an annual. I'll give them that. They really do. Uncanny X-Force number 9 wraps up the love square, if you will, of Fantomex Cluster, Weapon 13, and Psylocke. Last issue we saw Psylocke ask Weapon 13 to help her kill Fantomex. There's a weird fight in here between Fantomex and Psylocke. And then she tells Cluster to leave. It doesn't even look like Cluster's there. A little of it was confusing, but being a Fantomex fan and now his 2 counterpart fan, it was awesome. Psylocke eventually seems like she kills Weapon 13 with that psionic bear, that mad bear in her head. And then we see at the end, Cluster and Fantomex want to rejoin together to kind of love Psylocke again, because they're 2 parts of the same people. Obviously, Weapon 13 was another part. But it shows Psylocke like texting Storm and saying, you know, where are you? And then this whole story, there's been this side story about stealing this famous wine or champagne that if you drink it with somebody, you'll fall in love forever. And she's on her way home, and she just cracks it open and drinks by herself. And she says, hey, autopilot, I'm getting wasted. Then we have the next page where we're back with Bishop talking about this owl queen or something along the lines. Then it transfers over to her saying the night needs to come, something about nightmares. I don't know. I hope that once that story starts and the other characters of X-Force come back, I hope this doesn't go downhill, because I really loved the past couple issues with the Fantomex, Weapon 13 Cluster, and Psylocke. I really loved it. And I hope to see more Fantomex, even though I don't think it's going to happen. I think they kind of wrote it off from that series. Next we have XMen Legacy 14. Ooh, excuse me. Covers are always phenomenal on this. We have David in Britain amassing this team of his own kind of to, quote, wipe the mutant racism of Britain off the map, or something along those lines. And just all around fun in this. This book is always written so well, and in this one, again, I don't know what's going on for like the first 10 pages, and then it all comes together magically, and it's awesome. Key points in this book, you have David in his head with like multiple things, like honing multiple powers at once, and they actually allude to that he doesn't have control over the time breakers or the reality changer powers yet, but they said yet. Right now, David is probably the strongest mutant in the world, and he's not even accessed his most powerful powers yet. I really hope he becomes a monster, huge part of the universe, because there's so much you could do with him. He's so powerful. He's like the mutant equivalent of Superman at this point. He has every power. He really can't be injured. He can't be hurt. And I like him putting one over on Pete Wisdom. He makes Pete Wisdom think one thing and then turns it around and does what he said he was going to do. You need to read this book because it's so good. I don't want it to go anywhere. I really don't think enough people are reading it. I said that about books before and they got canceled. Please read it. Now the pick of the week, which I wasn't really excited to read because I see this as kind of a brother-sister book to Nova, and everybody raves about Nova, and I don't see what Nova's about. But I mean, I don't see what the big deal is. I understand Nova, but I don't see what the big deal is. But this book is Guardians of the Galaxy number 5. Everything in this book was awesome. Mantis appears. From the way she's drawn, it's awesome. Angela's there. There's a fight between Gamora and Angela that's just incredible. There's awkwardness between Tony and Gamora because they had sexual intercourse. Just everything about this is awesome. I even wasn't annoyed with Rocket Raccoon in this one. He was talking to Tony, being an asshole, and I wasn't annoyed with him. It's the first issue I wasn't annoyed with him. Everything about this book is awesome. Star-Lord meets Thanos to find out what the hell happened to him. This book has everything. Read this book. Take my digital code. Seriously, take the digital code. Take it. It's awesome. You need to read this. This is the best one of these so far. This was my pick of the week. Out of 16 books, this was the best one, and there were some awesome books in there. And I don't mind Angela being in the Marvel Universe at this point, because the way they brought her in from Age of Ultron, I didn't like at all. I hated it. But now that she's in this book, fighting Gamora, incredible. I'm glad they didn't just have her wipe Gamora out either to show her power. Gamora is the most dangerous woman in the universe, so it was awesome. Please read this. If you don't want the code, just pick it up because it is awesome. It really is. Everything about this book, it was such a fun read. It was such a great book. Please read it. I don't have anything else to say. I've been tongue-tied this whole time. You probably didn't understand a word I said. You've probably turned the video off by now. But if you haven't, look for a Red Box run-through up later today or tomorrow. And my contest ends tomorrow. Get a video in. If you get a video in by tomorrow, then it's fine. Like if you put one in tomorrow, that's fine. But after tomorrow it's over, I'll do a drawing probably Monday or Tuesday. You'll see that. And if you're still watching now, and you made it this far through my incoherent ramblings that I have no idea what I said and don't know anything about these books, obviously, I just want you to have a great day.